In today's video, 8 strategies for dealing with imposter syndrome. Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another episode of Coach Better Quick Tips. My name is Kim, and I am the CEO and founder of Eduro Learning. I am also the host of the Coach Better podcast and the creator and host of the Women Who Lead certificate program. Today's topic is something that has come up repeatedly in the Coach Better podcast episodes, in the Women Who Lead certificate program, with my clients in the Coach Certificate and Mentorship program, and with my private mentoring clients. I have noticed as a mentor to educators around the world that there are so many hardworking, well-educated, strong women working in education that don't feel quite ready to take the leap into leadership or make the move into coaching or generally level up their career because they feel like they're an imposter. This idea of imposter syndrome is well-documented and seems to affect women more than men. Don't worry if you are feeling that way, if you feel like you're an imposter in your role or you don't have the skills to level up to the next step in your career. It's really common, and there are lots of strategies we can use to help prevent imposter syndrome from rearing its ugly head. So today, I'm going to share 8 strategies to help you battle imposter syndrome. And to be fully transparent, I have used these strategies many times at many different points in my career. In fact, some of them I use on an everyday basis. And they definitely come up very frequently in my conversations with my private mentoring clients. So if imposter syndrome is something you're struggling with and the ideas in this video resonate with you, please check out our private mentoring packages to learn more or reach out to me on social to ask questions. I'm always happy to chat with you about how we can best support you here at Eduro. And you can find out more about our mentoring packages at edurolearning.com/mentor. All right, here we go. 8 strategies to help you deal with imposter syndrome. The very first and most important strategy is to remind yourself of all of your qualifications and your achievements. If you are anything like me, as soon as you achieve something, it's almost forgotten in your mind and you just move on to the next hurdle. So finding a way to remind yourself of the amazing things that you've accomplished over the course of your career, whether it's specifically the degrees that you have or the accomplishments in your work performance or the products you've produced or the ways that you've interacted with others, documenting those achievements and putting them in a space that's visible to you, especially when you're having something stressful like recruiting or having an interview conversation online like we're chatting right now. Having those documented and visible to you will help remind you of the great things that you have accomplished over the course of your career. My second strategy for overcoming imposter syndrome is to be clear on the purpose of why you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. As educators, most of us got into education to make a difference in the lives of our students. Remembering why you became an educator and the impact you want to have on the students or educators that you work with will refresh your inspiration for taking the next step in your career. So having that clear vision of why you're going for this role or why you're taking that next step will help inspire you to keep pushing forward. The third strategy, and this is probably one of the ones that I use the most, is to take control of your self-talk. Instead of letting yourself get caught in a spiral of negative self-talk, either think of a quote or a phrase that inspires you or gets you fired up, or have a mantra that you can continue to repeat to yourself when you're faced with challenging situations. The goal is to focus on breaking that cycle of negative thinking or rumination by flipping a switch in your brain to positive thinking. I use this all the time. I have mantras for all sorts of things. Really helps me switch my perspective from something that I can be intimidated by or scared of or not feel ready for to reminding myself the ways that I am actually prepared for, ready for, excited about whatever this next thing is. In fact, lots of times I actually use those as I'm drifting off to sleep at night. I will think about upcoming things and say my mantras to myself in my mind as I'm drifting off to sleep so that I can be thinking about this positive ways that I can tackle this new challenge as I'm sleeping. Number 4 is super important for today, and that is to stop comparing yourself to others. We are constantly faced with a highlight reel of somebody else's life. We never know what's truly going on behind the scenes of that Instagram or Facebook or Twitter account. The idea is to reflect on yourself and how you have grown. That's more important than how you compare to someone else. If you're able to do this thing better, easier, or more confidently than you were before, that demonstrates growth. Even if you're not exactly where you want to be, are you growing? And if you can focus on your growth rather than competing with others, you'll begin to feel more confident. Number 5 is to separate feelings from facts and to recognize the difference between how you feel versus what you've actually accomplished. So if you're prepared for and you know that feelings of imposter syndrome or fear or not quite being ready are going to come, you can then more objectively see how your feelings might be influencing your perspectives of your preparedness for whatever this next thing is. Then you can ask yourself, is this thought helping or hindering me? So recognizing the difference between the way you feel about something versus the facts of how prepared you are for something is really important. And this is also something I do a lot for myself. It's just recognizing that I might be intimidated by this thing, but I have done X, Y, and Z to prepare for it so that I am ready for it. That's the difference between feelings and facts. Number 6 is one I use all the time, particularly for powerlifting, for my powerlifting competitions, and that is to visualize your success, to actually see yourself succeeding in whatever it is you're moving towards, whether it's a job interview or a sports performance like a powerlifting competition, to actually see yourself in your mind's eye being successful at this thing will help you almost feel like you've lived that day or that experience already, and you know exactly how it's going to go. This is another one I use a lot as I'm falling asleep. If I have an especially heavy lift the next day, or I have a presentation that I'm stressed out about the next day, I will visualize myself going through that experience really successfully and feeling confident and proud of myself for the work that I did, so that the next day I wake up feeling ready to tackle whatever that thing is. Number 7 is one that I take directly from the classroom, and it is recognizing that failure is just a first attempt in learning. It's okay to fail and learn and try again. In fact, by doing this, you are demonstrating a growth mindset. You're demonstrating the fact that you want to be a learner, you want to grow, and you want to be better. So if you're looking at leadership in your future or coaching in your future, demonstrating that you are able to try new things and take a risk and learn from them is exactly what you're expecting from the others that you work with. So you're becoming a role model by growing from your own experience. And alongside of that, it's totally okay to ask for help. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of growth-mindedness. And my last strategy for today, number 8, is to talk about it. Sometimes just the act of talking things out helps you realize that these are feelings, not facts. Sometimes when I get lost in my own thoughts, just having to explain my process, my thought process, to someone else can help me sort them out myself. In fact, a lot of the time I'll ask my husband to just literally sit there while I talk something through. He doesn't really even have to say anything, and by the end, I have kind of sorted myself out. Plus, if you have the opportunity to work with a coach or a mentor, they can also support you in growing into the role you're working towards and help you recognize when your feelings of imposter syndrome are normal or when you're overreacting. Here at Eduro, we believe in the power of mentorship and the impact having a mentor can have on all aspects of your life. I have coaches in multiple areas of my life, and I can see my growth every single time I'm interacting with them. And even in between those sessions, I recognize the homework or the tasks that they've given me are helping me grow into the next stage of my professional career or my athletic development. Okay, those were my 8 strategies to help you deal with imposter syndrome. They were to remember your qualifications and achievements and make them visible, to get clear on your purpose, to take control of your self-talk, to stop comparing yourself to others, to separate feelings from facts, to visualize your success, to recognize that failure is simply a first attempt in learning, and to talk about it. Hopefully one or all of those 8 strategies will be helpful for you. And if they were, please let me know. Please leave a message in the comments or reach out to me on social. I'd love to hear how any of these strategies were helpful for you. If you are ready to conquer your imposter syndrome, having a mentor can help you do just that. Our private mentoring packages are thoughtful, in-depth, action-oriented, personalized professional development customized just to your needs. We work together one-on-one in a format like this over Zoom or Google Hangouts to articulate your professional goals and design a custom learning plan to help you reach those goals. Having a mentor gives you an outside sounding board to talk through any issues you may be facing in your role at school, to get away from potentially a negative school culture or a specific school groupthink environment. Having a mentor gives you an outside sounding board to talk through any issues you may be facing in your role at school, from moving to a leadership position, to finding your voice as a coach, to building your capacity with technology-rich learning. We can support you in any aspect of your professional growth as an educator. Find out more at edurolearning.com/mentor. Here at Eduro, we provide professional learning for educators at the intersection of technology, coaching, and leadership. Our mission is to empower the relentless learner in you to embrace your inner leader and make a bigger impact in your school setting. Join our Coach Better Facebook group and connect with us on social media for more great resources at the intersection of technology, coaching, and leadership. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.